Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And then next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell. And when you click on that bell, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. And one last thing. Don't forget to be awesome. So yeah, don't forget to be awesome. And yeah, man, sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about AEW Dynamite for June 11th, 2021. Now, overall, man, I thought this show right here, this is better than last week's show. You know, tonight's show, it felt like more happened on the show. We had better matches on the show. It was more exciting on this show. Last week's show, it felt like nothing happened on the show besides the Andrade El Idollo showing up on AEW Dynamite last week. But tonight's show was a better episode than last week's episode. And yeah, we had a great main event and a great TNT Championship match between Miro and Evil Uno. That was a great match. But yeah, this show, man, it was just better. It just felt better than last week's show. It felt like it was more important on this show. So yeah, that was Dynamite, AEW Dynamite, Friday Night Dynamite for June 11th, 2021 on The Ryan Awesome Show. And if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. So yeah, so we started off the show with Matt Hardy and TH2. That's Angelico and Jack Evans. And so yeah, so Matt Hardy, he had grabbed the microphone. He was talking about Christian Cage and saying that Christian Cage was jealous of him, that he made, more money than Christian Cage in his entire career. And then Hardy, he had said that Angelico, he will beat Christian Cage tonight. And so yeah, so that was the end of Matt Hardy talking. And so yeah, so we had the match. It was Angelico with Matt Hardy and Jack Evans in his corner versus Christian Cage. So yeah, this is decent. This is a decent match. We had Angelico. He had targeted Christian Cage's arm, and then Cage, he fought back with uppercuts. And then Angelico, he had hit a PK kick to Cage, so Angelico was fighting back. And then Angelico again going after Christian's arm with a submission move. I think he had like an arm bar locked in. And so Christian, he started fighting back. He had a reverse tornado DDT to Angelico. And he had a missile drop kick. Hit a missile drop kick to Angelico. And we had Christian, he had a neck breaker on Angelico on a rope, so his neck had hit the rope. And then we had a diving headbutt. So at first I thought he was going for a frog splash because that's his high flying signature move, the frog splash. But he went for a diving headbutt. So shades of the Dynamite Kid right there. And so Angelico, he had kicked out. And so Angelico, he hit Cage with an insecurity kick and a diving European uppercut to Angelico. And to end the match, we had Cage. He hit his finishing move, the kill switch to Angelico to win the match. So Christian Cage wins the match. And so right after the match, we had Jack Evans. He tried to attack Christian Cage right after the match was over, but Cage ended up taking out Evans. And then Matt Hardy from behind, he had hit a twist of fate to Christian. And so they went to go attack him some more. But Jungle Boy, he had came out. Jungle Boy, he had came out and he chased off Matt Hardy and TH2. And so yeah, that was it with that. So we might be seeing a one-on-one match between Hardy and Cage, because Hardy for the second week in a row he had dropped Christian Cage with a twist of fate. So we might be seeing a one-on-one match between the two. So when will it be? I don't know. But you know it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. And of course Christian, he's gonna win. And so yeah, so right after that we had Tony Schiavone, or Tony Schiavone, whatever you want to call him. He came out, he introduced Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, Arn Anderson, and Brock Anderson, who is the son of Arn Anderson. And so yeah, so yeah, when Tony Schiavone, when he was announcing, well, he had introduced Brock Anderson last. So when Tony Schiavone said Brock, I thought he was about to say Brock Lesnar. I swear, I thought he was gonna say Brock Lesnar. But he paused like right after he said Brock, and so I was like, Brock Lesnar? But he said Brock Anderson. And so yeah, so basically, so yeah, Cody came out to his entrance music along with Brock Anderson and Arn Anderson. And so yeah, so basically it's gonna be a tag team match next week. It's gonna be Cody Rhodes and Brock Anderson versus QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. That's next week. And so yeah, so first off, Cody, he hyped up Brock for for that tag team match. He had hyped up Brock, and so QT Marshall interrupted Cody Rhodes while he was talking. And yeah, so Cody, before QT had came out, Cody had said that, Anthony Ogogo had beat Cody Rhodes. But QT, he had came out and said that Anthony Ogogo beat you, really? It was me. The last time I checked, I pinned you, Cody. Not Anthony Ogogo. I pinned you. And so yeah, so Marshall, he was talking smack to Cody and Brock. And then QT, he had challenged Cody Rhodes to a match. Because QT said he was going to whip Cody Rhodes, like literally beat Cody Rhodes. And so yeah, so QT, he had challenged Cody Rhodes to a strap match, a South Beach strap match. And so yeah, so Cody, he said, why a strap match? Like why wait when we could do it right now? And so Cody, he had took off his belt, and QT had took off his belt too. And so Cody had chased off QT. And so Cody, he was distracted by something. He was distracted. I think somebody was breaking him up, or the referee was separating him from QT. And so from behind, you had QT Marshall. He had hit Arn Anderson from behind with his belt. And so yeah, so Brock, he attacked QT. So Brock, he was pounding on QT, and so QT had slid out of the ring. And so the referees had broke up the fight. And so yeah, that was it with the segment. And dude, like, this feud should be over with already, dude. It should be over with already. I don't know how long. Like, why is this feud still happening? And who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? First off, you have a tag team match against the Factory next week, and now you have QT Marshall challenging Cody Rhodes to a strap match. Like, dude, come on, dude. This stuff should have been over with already. It should have been over with at Double or Nothing. That should have been it. But they had a tag team match last week, and now they're gonna have another tag team match this week, next Friday. And they're gonna have a strap match on July 7th. They said when they finally get back on the road in Miami. So, dude, I'm guessing QT will win the match because Cody Rhodes already beaten QT Marshall in a one-on-one match. I think that exhibition match that they had a while back. Like, dude, I don't like. This feud should have already been over with already. It should have already been over with. I don't care about it anymore. I don't care about the Nightmare family. I don't care about the Factory anymore. Like, dude, nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. Like, move on to something else. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, we had a match, and it was a 6-man tag or a trios tag or whatever you want to call it. And it was Pac, the Bastard Pac, Pentagon, and Eddie Kingston, the Mad King Eddie Kingston, versus the Young Bucks, who are the AEW World Tag Team Champions. That's Matt and Nick Jackson. And their tag team partner is Brandon Cutler. And so yeah, so this match, I could not keep notes in this match. I did not. I try to write down as many notes as I can. It's impossible to take notes in a 6-man tag team match, especially with these athletes, man. So yeah, so we had the Bucks. They had forced tagged Brandon Cutler, so they forced him into the ring. And so yeah, so Pac he had took out Cutler, and then Pac, he was going for the tag because Eddie Kingston he wanted to tag in, but Pac he had tagged in Pentagon instead because Pac he doesn't trust Eddie Kingston. And so yeah, so the baby faces they took control of the match, working on Brandon Cutler, who took the beating the entire match. And so yeah, so Pac, Eddie Kingston he was in the ring at that point, and so Pac he had tagged himself in, and so Kingston he was not happy. He did not like that. And so yeah, so Pac he was doing his thing in the ring, and so Pac this is funny right here. This is really funny. We had Pac he did the Young Bucks pose, and so yeah, it was really funny. I would never expect somebody like Pac to do something like that. So I thought that was really funny. And so yeah, so Pac he had took out the Bucks and Cutler. And so yeah, and then one of the they were fighting outside the ring, and so one of the Bucks had took out Pac with a basement drop kick. And so yeah, the heels they had took control of the match during a commercial break, picture in picture, of course. And so yeah, we had a hot tag to Kingston. He took out the Bucks with I think an overhead belly to belly suplex and an exploder suplex too. And so yeah, the Bucks that accidentally super kicked Brandon Cutler, and then they accidentally PK kicked Brandon Cutler. And so we had a Canadian destroyer to Nick from Pentagon, and then Kingston. So Brandon Cutler he tried to use the camera again like he did last week with Pac. So yeah, he tried to do the same thing this week, but Eddie Kingston he had stopped Brandon Cutler from using the camera. And so yeah, we had a Tope con Hero to Nick and Cutler from Pentagon, and we had a 450 splash. So everybody thought that he was going for the Black Arrow, but Pac he went for the 450 instead to Matt. And so yeah, so Pac right after that he had locked in the Brutalizer, his submission move, the Brutalizer on Matt. And so Nick he tried to break up the submission hold, but Pac he still had the submission hold in. So yeah, so yeah, we had double tope suicidas to Cutler and Nick from Pac and Kingston. So Eddie Kingston usually don't go for a high flying move, so it was really impressive to see Eddie Kingston go for a high flying move. And so to end the match, we had a spinning back fist to Cutler from Kingston. And so Pac he had went for the cover to win the match. So Pac, Pentagon, and Eddie Kingston wins the match, and that was it with the match. Really good match, man. Really good match. And so after the match, we had the Bucks. They attacked Pac, Pentagon, and Kingston. And so the Good Brothers they had joined in on the attack. And so Frankie Kazarian they quoting him as they coining him as the Elite Hunter. So the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian had came off and fought off the Elite. And so yeah, that was it with that. So yeah, really good match. But I could not keep up with this match. I could not, take notes in this match. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had the Pinnacle. They came out to the ring and they spoke. The Pinnacle, that's MJF, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, Tully Blanchard, and FTR, Cash, Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. And they came out to the ring and they were talking about that match that they had with the Inner Circle at Double or Nothing, the Stadium Stampede match and all that stuff. And, each guys, they were talking about their opponents. FTR, they were talking about Santana and Ortiz and all that stuff and explaining why they did what they did to Santana and Ortiz. And yeah, so Spears, he had talked about Sammy Guevara, saying that, Sammy Guevara is not the hero. And Spears, he claims that he's the hero and all that stuff. And so Spears, he was yelling into the mic. And so the rest of the Pinnacle guys, they had to hold him back. And so, yeah, so Wardlow, it was his turn to speak. So he spoke about Jake Hager. And so, yeah, so Wardlow said that Jake Hager, he couldn't beat him in the ring. So what makes him think that he's going to beat him? What makes him think that Hager is going to beat him? And so, yeah, so Wardlow, he accepted Jake Hager's challenge with that, for the MMA fight or the cage fight, MMA cage fight that they having next week. So, yeah, so Wardlow accepted the match. And he says, like, no matter what match we're in, when you step foot inside this ring with me, you will be living in my world, Wardlow's world. And so, yeah, so MJF, it was his time to speak. He was the last person to speak, the leader. And so, yeah, so he talked about Jericho, Chris Jericho. And so, yeah, so MJF, he said that he has nothing to prove to nobody, especially not Chris Jericho. And so, yeah, so MJF, he was, talking about when he first met Chris Jericho and all that stuff, when AEW first started and all that stuff, him looking up to Chris Jericho. And so, yeah, so MJF, he declined Chris Jericho's challenge when Jericho had challenged him to a match last week. MJF he declined the offer. And so MJF he had mentioned Sammy Guevara, saying that he was making fun of Sammy Guevara because he couldn't cut a promo or something like that. He said. And so yeah, so right after that we had Jericho. He had interrupted via satellite. I don't know if they call it via satellite, but he interrupted via satellite. And so yeah, so Jericho he said that he told the Pinnacle guys, you better accept this match or else you'll be walking home tonight. And so the camera had panned in on the limo that was outside of Pinnacle's limo. And so yeah, so you had Sammy Guevara, Santana and Ortiz, and Jericho. They destroyed the Pinnacle's limo. And so at first I was like, "Where's Hager? Why Hager not there?" And so the camera had showed Jake Hager, who was on a forklift, and so he had drove the forklift inside the. Well, he drove the forklift into the limo, the Pinnacle's limo, and so he destroyed the limo. And so yeah, so he lifted up the limo with the forklift and just dropped it, and that was it. And so yeah, so Sammy, the Pinnacle, they was celebrating and all that stuff, you know, celebrating the fact that they just destroyed the Pinnacle's limo. And so yeah, so Sammy he said he looked into the camera, he said that MJF, hey MJF, I would take you on any day of the night. And so yeah, so yeah, that was it. So the Inner Circle they had drove off on a forklift, and that was it. So really, really good stuff. But when will this feud be over? I'm talking about. I just got finished talking about the Nightmare Family and the Factory. When will this feud be over? Because they done just about everything, dude. They done just about everything. They had the Blood and Guts match. The Pinnacle won that match, and you had the Stadium Stampede match. The Inner Circle won that match. With a stipulation. If the Pinnacle would have lost, if the Inner Circle would have lost, they would have disbanded forever. And so, yeah, it should be the other way around. I had time to think about it, dude. It should have like last week. It should have been the Pinnacle asking for a rematch instead of the Inner Circle asking for a rematch because you got what you want. Like Sammy Guevara is the reason why you guys are still together. You guys had a big win over the Pinnacle, and if you would have lost the match, you would have disbanded forever. So they don't need to fight the Pinnacle anymore. They got they win. They beat the Pinnacle. Why why are they fighting again? That's the thing. Why are they fighting again? Like you have the Blood and Guts match, which is a feud ending match. And you had the Stadium Stampede, which is also a feud ending match. Like, dude, what else are they gonna do? What else are they gonna do? So I'm guessing that the individual matches are the end of the feud. I'm guessing that's what I'm guessing because they can't do anything else. You've done just about everything. Now, yeah, I don't know. Like I really don't know. If they come up with something else, another faction match, what else would they do? What else are they gonna do? And who will win this time? I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, that was it with that. The cage match should be good next week with Hager and Wardlow. That should be really good. It's different too, so we never seen anything like it in AEW. So that's why it'll probably be good. But yeah, right after that, we had Darby Allin and Sting. They were backstage. They spoke, and so yeah, so Darby Allin he said that you know yeah he had words to say about Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page challenged him last week into a tag team match, and him picking a partner besides Sting. And so yeah, so Allin he said that he will go up against Scorpio Sky and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page in a handicap match all by himself. And so yeah, so Sting, he didn't like the idea. He didn't like the idea. And so yeah, so Darby he had told Sting to stay home, like stay home, dude. And Sting he was like why, dude? Like you don't have nothing to prove to nobody. You've been TNT champion. Like everything you've done was by yourself. You didn't need me to accomplish what you accomplished. You didn't need me. And so yeah, so Darby he still told Sting like, hey, it's not about that. I just want you to stay home. And so yeah. And so yeah, so Sting and Darby Allin they gave each other fist bumps, and then Sting he had just said that I'm not gonna show up then. I'm not gonna show up next week. And so yeah, that was it with that. I'm not a fan of this dude. This just like the Nightmare Family and the Inner Circle and Pinnacle stuff. This match should be over. This feud should be over with too. Like this stuff should be over with too, man. It should. But yeah, because Darby Allin, Sting, they beat Scorpio Sky. They beat Scorpio Sky, and they beat Ethan Page at Double or Nothing. So why are they still fighting? Why are they still feuding? Like they lost. They lost already. Like, dude, why are they fighting? But yeah, that was it with that. And so who like yeah, dumb move from Darby Allin. Going in alone, dumb move. But Darby Allin, he's brave. He don't care. He don't care. He'll put himself through anything to get what he wants. So yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had the TNT Championship match. It was Evil Uno versus or Evil Uno with the Dark Order in his corner versus Miro, who is the TNT champion. So yeah, so this is a really good match, really good match. We had Evil Uno. He said that he will bring the TNT Championship back to the Dark Order and make Mr. Brody Lee proud. The TNT Championship, Mr. Brody Lee made famous the TNT Championship. So yeah, so to start the match, we had Uno. He chopped Miro, and Miro had no soul the chops. And so Miro, he had punched a steel post at one point when they were fighting outside the ring. And so yeah, so we had a senton to Miro off the apron. We had a Saito suplex to Uno. And so Miro, he was fighting back. And so Miro, he had took control of the match during a commercial break. Picture in picture, you guessed it. And so yeah, we had a drop kick to Uno from Miro. Really impressive to see a guy jump off his feet and hit a drop kick. And so yeah, so we had Stu Grayson. We had Stu Grayson and Five or Allen Angels, whatever you want to call them, try to cheer up, try to cheer on Evil Uno, who was out on the ground because Miro had took him out outside the ring. And so yeah, the referee was counting to 10. And Evil Uno, so you had Grayson and Five, they tried to, cheer Evil Uno up. They didn't touch him, they didn't get involved, they just yelled at him, telling him to get up, like get up, get back in the ring. And so Uno, he made it back in the ring at 9. And so Miro, he was mad. He was upset. And so he took out Stu Grayson. He took out Stu Grayson. He had threw him into the crowd, or knocked him into the crowd. And then number 5, he was the smart one. 5 was the smart one and left. He got out of there. And so yeah. So we had a Hurricanrana to Miro from Uno. Really nice. And we had a big boot to Miro. We had a senton bomb to Miro, and he kicked out at 1. Not 2, not 2.5, but 1. And so the rest of the Dark Order, all 2,900 of them, they came out to the ring and they cheered on Evil Uno. And so, yeah, we had Evil Uno hit a discus clothesline to Miro, paying homage to Mr. Brody Lee with the discus clothesline. But Miro, he was still standing up after the discus clothesline. And so Miro, he had a clothesline of his own to Evil Uno. And so right after that, to end the match, we had Miro, he locked in his submission move, the game over submission move to Evil Uno to win the match. So yeah, so Evil Uno, so Miro, he wins the match and is still the TNT champion. So yeah, that was it with that. Very competitive match, and dominant win for Miro. And so yeah, that was it with that. And who's next, man? Who's next for Miro? Who is next for Miro? I don't know. But whoever steps up to Miro, they will lose. Just like Lance Archer, just like Evil Uno, they all fall down to Miro, man. And I'm loving what they're doing with Miro, man. We all asked for Miro to be booked better on this show, and he finally was booked better on the show. Finally, man. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, we had a vignette from Andrade El Idollo, on the former Andrade Cien Almas. And so yeah, they showed a video of him putting on his suit and his chain with the mask on it. And so yeah, so Andrade El Idollo, he's the face of Latinos. And so yeah, so Jim Ross, he will interview Andrade. He'll have a sit-down interview with Jim Ross next week, or yeah, next Friday. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that, we had Tony Schiavone again. He came out to the ring. He was in the middle of the ring. He introduced Kenny by God Omega, the Best Bout Machine, who is the AEW World Champion and the Impact World Champion, with Don Callis, the Invisible Hand, in his corner. And so yeah, so they both came out to the ring. They were talking about Jungle Boy, and then Callis, he had called Jungle Boy a one-hit wonder. And Callis and Omega said that Jungle Boy, he has everything, but he doesn't have guts. And so Jungle Boy, he had interrupted with his theme music, and the crowd was singing his theme music. And so yeah, so Omega, he was talking trash to Jungle Boy, making fun of him because of the fact that he can't talk or cut a promo. And And so yeah, so Omega he was heated, he was mad that Jungle Boy had interrupted him, and so Omega he had gave Jungle Boy at a count of 5 to say what you got to say. And so yeah, so Jungle Boy he had said that you talk too much. And so yeah, where is Botchamania where you need him, man? So yeah, Jungle Boy told Omega that you talk too much. And so Omega he tried to attack Jungle Boy, but Omega so yeah, so Jungle Boy ended up fighting back, and then Omega ended up raking Jungle Boy in the eyes, and so Jungle Boy still ended up fighting back, and he tried to lock in his submission move, that snare trap, but the Bucks had chased off Jungle Boy, and that was it with that. And so yeah, that was it with that. I'm not a fan of when challengers and champions, like when they're having a big match, I'm not a fan of them touching before the match, before their big match, because you're just giving away the match right there. Like, dude, don't do that, man. Do not do that. But yeah, that was it with that. But the match should be really good. They moved it to Saturday, I think on the 26th or something like that. They moved it to the 26th. That's in 2 weeks because it was supposed to be tonight. It was supposed to be tonight, but they moved it back, or it was supposed to be next week, I think it was, but they had moved it back. And yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, we had Jade Cargill with Mark Sterling, and they spoke. And so yeah, so Mark Sterling he said that he wants to make sure that Jade Cargill becomes a household name because Jade Cargill she has a family and she has a family to feed. And so yeah, so Jade Cargill she said that she is a star because she is that bitch, and that's what she said. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so Jade Cargill she's staking claim to the women's division in AEW. And yeah, and so yeah, right after that we had Scorpio Sky backstage segment from Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. And so yeah, so they were talking about Darby Allin, saying that Darby Allin made a dumb move by going at it alone. And so yeah, so Page and Sky they reminded Darby Allin of them costing them the TNT Championship, or them costing Darby Allin the TNT Championship, and said that they both said that they will tear Darby Allin piece by piece. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had a match, and it was Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts in his corner versus Chandler Hopkins. This was a beatdown, bro. This match was not long at all. It was a squash match. So he had Lance Archer hit a choke slam to Hopkins, and then in the match he hit a blackout to Hopkins to win the match. So Lance Archer wins the match. And so yeah, if you blinked, dude, the match was already over. So that's how quick the match was. And so yeah, so yeah, Lance Archer wins. So right now they rebuilding Lance Archer by having him go through jobbers. And I guess that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do that right now because he just lost to Miro at Double or Nothing. So they're gonna rebuild him back up. But I wouldn't send him after back to a championship. I would not send him after a championship right now. But yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Peter Avalon, Ryan Nemeth, JD Drake, and Cezar Bononi. They spoke. I forgot their name. I forgot what they call themselves, but they do have a faction name. So yeah, they talked about Orange Cassidy, saying that he's the worst dressed person in AEW, and they tried to recruit him to their faction, or try to give him a redo or something like that, or a makeover or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that we had a match, and it was Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero versus legit Layla Hirsch. So yeah, when Layla Hirsch was making her entrance, they had a step up stool. They had a step up stool on the stage, and so yeah, the step up stool was for Layla Hirsch. So that was making fun of Layla Hirsch's height because she's short. And so yeah, so Layla Hirsch she was offended by that, and so she took the step stool and she just threw it in the ring, and it almost hit Vicky Guerrero. And so yeah, she got in the ring, and Nyla Rose had ran over Layla Hirsch. And so yeah, we had an armbar to Rose, and so Rose she had used the power against Hirsch. And then Rose had caught Hirsch off a tope suicida and slammed her into the guardrail. And then Rose had took control of the match during a commercial break, picture in picture. You guessed it right. And so we had a release German suplex to Rose, which was nice. And we had a running knee to Rose and a moonsault to Rose. And then Hirsch tried to go for the cover, but Rose had grabbed the rope. And to end the match, we had Nyla Rose hit the Beast Bomb to Layla Hirsch off of the top rope to win the match. So Nyla Rose wins the match, and that was it. So, it was nothing more than a warm up match for Nyla Rose, and they setting her up for Britt Baker. I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna be any good for Britt Baker or Nyla Rose. Like, no, no. I don't like it. It should be somebody else going after the title. Nyla Rose has done nothing to warrant a championship match. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, speaking of Britt Baker, we had Tony Schiavone. He interviews Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, who is the AEW World Champion, or the AEW Women's Champion rather, with Rebel in her corner.
Guys, yes, a win for Nyla Rose, and of course, a week ago she disrupted the championship celebration. That does not take away from the fact that this lady right here, Dr.
The new
Baker, DMD,
DMD,
is still the world champ.
You know what? For once, you're right, Tony. And at first, I was freaking furious, Nyla, that you ruined my championship celebration. But then, as a role model, I took a second, I took a deep breath, and then I realized, you know what? You look pretty good flipping those damn burgers, so maybe you should stick to that full time. And
wow.
a little dignity, if you can, because you sure didn't show little old Layla any. The audacity of you to poke fun at her disadvantage. I mean,
yeah.
Come on. Bless her heart. I would never. But back to me. I've been champion for how long? And I'm already the most superior women's champ this place has ever seen. I mean, the major
right about that.
Are flying in left and right. And what did you have, Nyla?
Nothing.
What did you have?
Nothing.
Nothing. But that's okay, because I'll add you to the list of jealous bitches in the back.
Oh.
But I know why you're coming for this.
Why is that?
Because you need this.
Yep.
Nyla, because this title makes you.
Yep.
But with me,
she made the title.
I make this title.
Yeah.
Just like I made this division, and just like I'm making a whole new era. Yours truly, Dr. Britt Baker,
DMD. Yeah. And that was it. That's what the women's champion had to say about Nyla Rose. And yeah, Britt Baker, she makes the title. Not the other way around. She makes the title. So yeah, that was it with that. So yeah. So right after that, we had the main event. So yeah, before we get into the main event, let's talk about next week's show. So yeah, so next week's show, it will be an 8-man tag. So it's gonna be a 1, 2, 3. No, a 6-man tag. Yeah. So it's gonna be Pentagon and Eddie Kingston. Pentagon and Eddie Kingston and Frankie Kazarian with Alex Abrahantes. So it's Abrahantes making his return to AEW versus the Elite. So it's versus Matt Jackson, who is one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, and the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, or Doc Gallows, with Don Callis in their corner. And so yeah, so no Nick. And so yeah, so also next week, Andrade El Idollo has a sit-down interview with JR, Jim Ross. And then we have Orange Cassidy with the Best Friends and Chris Statlander versus Cezar Bononi with the Wingmen. So that's what they call themselves, the Wingmen. That's Peter Avalon, JD Drake, Ryan Nemeth. And that's next week as well. And we have Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page in a handicap match next Friday. And also we had that MMA cage fight with Wardlow and Jake Hager next Friday. And then we have the tag team match, Cody Rhodes and Brock Anderson of the Nightmare Family with Arn Anderson in their corner versus QT Marshall and Aaron Solo with Nick Camarado in their corner, which is next Friday. So yeah, that's next week's show. Next week's show is looking good. I'm looking forward for that cage match with Hager and Wardlow. And so yeah, that was it with next week's show. And so yeah, right after that, we had the main event, which was the best match on the show. We had Team Taz, Brian Cage and Will Hobbs, or Powerhouse Hobbs, or whatever you want to call him, versus Hangman Adam Page and number 10, Preston Vance of the Dark Order. So yeah, so Page, right at the bell, he tried to go after Cage, And then Cage had used his power against Page, Cage. A lot of pages and cages in AEW, man. We got Christian Cage, we have Ethan Page, we have Adam Hangman Page. We have a lot of cages, man, and pages. So we had 10 and Cage. They went back and forth. And we had a pump kick to Cage from number 10. And then we had a double powerbomb to 10 from Cage and Hobbs. And then Team Taz, they took control of the match during a commercial break. You guessed it, picture in picture. And we had Brian Cage. He had his curl ups to number 10, follow up by a fall away slam from Cage. And we had a standing moonsault to number 10 from Cage. And then Ricky Starks and Hook, they had came out to the ring to watch the match, to cheer on Team Taz. And we had a pump kick to Hobbs from number 10. We had a hot tag to Page. He took out Cage. And we had a hurricanrana to Cage into the steel post from Page. And we had a moonsault to Hobbs from Page. And we had a crossbody. We had a crossbody to Adam Hangman Page from Will Hobbs. So that was nice. I love it. I love it when these big guys hit the crossbody. Really nice. And we had Brian Cage. He had a 619 to number 10, which was also nice. And we had a spine buster to Hobbs from 10. And then Cage and Hobbs hit the high-low, the tag team combo move, the high-low to number 10. And so Starks, so referee was distracted by Hook because Hook had gotten in the ring, and so the referee tried to get him out of there. And so Starks, he had, through Brian Cage, the FTW Championship. And so Cage had the FTW title. And so Cage, he had threw it right back at Ricky Starks. And so Ricky Starks, he was upset. Taz, who was on commentary, he was upset too. And so Starks, he had slapped Cage in the face. He had slapped him right in his face. And so in a normal match, it would have been a disqualification. But the referee didn't see it. The referee did not see the slap because he was distracted by Hook. And so Cage, he had chased off Ricky Starks to the back. And then Hobbs, he was left alone. He was wondering, like, where was Brian Cage going? And so Hobbs, he had a beautiful spine buster to number 10. And so 10 ended up fighting back. He had a ripcord cutter to Hobbs. And then to end the match, we had Adam Hangman Page hit his finishing move, the buckshot lariat to Hobbs to win the match. And so number 10 goes for the cover. And so Hangman Adam Page and 10 wins the match. And that was it with the match. Really great match. Really great match, man. Great back and forth from both of these teams. And it looks like Brian Cage will be breaking away from Team Taz. And I do not like that. I do not like that at all, bro. I think, Brian Cage, he needs Team Taz. He needs Team Taz because I don't think he'll make it out on his own because he's a great athlete and everything. He has the look, he has the size, but he is not good on that microphone. He is not good on that microphone. That's why Taz was there. Like when he first came in, he needed somebody to speak for him, and Taz was that guy to speak for him. And now he ain't gonna have nobody to speak for him. Now he did some talking when he was in Team Taz, but all he said was who better. But he should still be with Team Taz. He should still be with Team Taz because he cannot speak for himself. He can't. Now, one person that I do want to see on their own from Team Taz is Ricky Starks. I would love to see Ricky Starks on his own. Ricky Starks is a person that don't need Team Taz. He don't need Team Taz. But Brian Cage and Will Hobbs and Hook, they need Team Taz. Ricky Starks, he'll do well on his own because he can talk for himself. But Cage, he cannot talk for himself. But that was it with the match. And that was it with the show. And so Brian Cage will be breaking up with Team Taz. Don't like that. And and Hangman Adam Page and number 10 gets the win. And then the rest of the Dark Order came out. All 9,000 of them came out, and they were drinking beer. -1 was drinking water, of course, because he can't drink. He's a little kid. So him and Cocamana had like water bottles, and the rest of the Dark Order had like beers, and they were drinking with Hangman Adam Page to end the show. And so that was it. And so overall the show was good. Better than last week's show. I'll tell you that. It felt like this show was more exciting than last week's show. Last week's show, it felt like it was, I don't know what it was. It felt like nothing happened on last week's show, but it felt like more happened on this show than last week's show. And we had better matches on this show than last week's show. But that was it with that. And man, and this was the AEW Dynamite review for June 11th, 2021 on The Ryan Awesome Show. And man, if you like this video, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video will come out, because I am here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded, because I'm here each and every single week. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys for tomorrow. I'll see you guys for tomorrow for Against All Odds, which is this Saturday, tomorrow. And I'll see you guys on Sunday for NXT TakeOver in your house on Sunday. And yeah, man. And if you missed my last week's review of AEW Dynamite, the video is going to be right up here in this corner. And the link to that video will be down below in the description. So make sure you click up here or click the link down below in the description if you miss anything. And yeah, man. And I'll see you guys for Against All Odds, Impact Wrestling pay-per-view Against All Odds. And yeah, man. Share this video. Comment down below. Tell me how you felt about this episode of AEW Dynamite. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man. And once again, guys, thank you for the support. Thank you all for the love and support for this show. Thank you, and thank you, man. And this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and that's that.